get started. Mr. Manager, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you. Before we get on the agenda items, just wanted to let you know, we're going to, fingers crossed, we'll be back at the bench on Tuesday. I think the plexiglass dividers are being installed today. They were supposed to arrive today and then be installed. So we'll be able to get everybody up on the dais.
Awesome.
Nice.
You've got a speaker on the public agenda. Page 2, bringing back the state legislative agenda. As requested, you should have a report that was given to you this morning that shows in yellow, it's highlighted what's been added to the agenda from last year. So you'll notice the first page, there's several items that are related to COVID. And that was a new section. And then there's, I think, page 2, maybe there are some additions as well. Don't think there was too much or anything else after that. So it's really just the first 2 pages. Oh, and also, and then the follow the sheet we have at the back, which should reflect what's in the earlier pages. That's our tracking sheet. Okay. And then under that, so that's unfinished business. And then number 1 under new council business, this is our annual program for the upgrading of railroad crossings, $150,000, asking for you to approve that budget. Number 2 is a reallocation of funds from the Hyatt proceeds for District 1. It's $93,000 reallocation. It would create a small business revolving loan fund targeted to women-owned, minority-owned, and District 1 businesses.
So just wanted to, because we're on that item, that seems like a pretty interesting program. Is there another program in the country that we're modeling that after, or is there any way if we wanted to look more into a program like that, like is it a model or program out there that we can look towards?
We're actually contracting with Christina Long to help us. She did some work at the state level. Mm-hmm. Where else is she?
She's worked with, I think, the majority of the funding sources last year that came through federal, state. Locally, she's been working with Network Kansas, I think, for 8 to 10 years with all of their programs that they have. And then once we started going down this path, she's also been in contact with NLC to talk about what we're doing around the country and ways in which we can perfect the program.
Okay, cool.
And on several of our city-to-city trips, we've seen programs like this all over the country. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wouldn't be hard to, someone like me to research how these have been going.
And the hope is that, again, this is a revolving loan fund, so proceeds will come back and we'll be able to do additional loans in the future. And there's also a hope that there'll be private funds that will come into this project or program as well.
So, just historically, the only other loan I know that we have done as a council was the Starlight. Has there been others? And that had some...
Out of the Hyatt money or period?
That was out of the Hyatt money.
Yeah, I don't recall anything else. I had my Hyatt list here. I don't recall that most of them have been grants and just one-time expenses.
And while I know this is a Starlight, it's a loan. They're paying that back.
Correct. It's
right?
a 5-year loan.
But it's a direct loan, right? And this one is actually through the CREATE campaign, which has a track record of doing these kinds of things.
Exactly. Yep.
We started off talking about a grant, but it's $88,000. It would have depleted pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And we were looking for a way to sustainably help.
Yeah, that's the best part about this is it keeps.
No, I get all that.
Sure,
I'm just
yeah.
looking for case history and where we've done this before.
Yep.
I know that we had on that one, we had very specific deal points related to execution of a promissory note, a personal guarantee.
Right.
That's evidently going to be taken care of through the CREATE campaign.
Correct.
The good thing about them is they're working with Fidelity on a few things, so they'll have bank professionals helping them with that.
Yeah. The contract that we will have will get all of the loan documents provided to us. We'll do the final administration, but everything is basically going to be prepared for us and handed to us, which would include promissory notes and everything else for the businesses.
And again, this is a one-time thing because of the Hyatt proceeds.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like we have a bank of money for the public to come after.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Yes, thank you for that reminder.
How much do we think the average loan will be? I'm just trying to figure out, like I said, there's not a lot of money there. I'm trying to figure out what the reach is going to be.
Yeah, it's a great question, Jeff. I think we don't know for sure, but I think she's talked about maybe $10,000 to $20,000 in order to be able to stretch it.
On the high end, that a lot of what we talked about has been 1,000 to 3,000 for trying to fill those gaps that we saw last year. So a lot of small businesses I heard from were talking about less than 5,000. On the high end, it would be that, and on that focus, the hope is that the private sector pours more money into that fund so we can do those bigger type loans.
Vice Mayor, this is Becky, and I'll probably get with you maybe over the weekend or Monday because I have some additional questions, like are there restrictions on type of businesses, and then also duration and what are the expectations and all that. So I haven't looked at the sheet yet. I'm sorry, but I'll get with you if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
It seems almost like it's a more sustainable way of doing a little bit what the county was doing with the $5,000 loans with the COVID money, where there might be a model if we need to look towards how they were processing and so on. Like, it seems somewhat in that same, I guess, realm. So there's probably a template out there.
Yeah, I mean, she took, that was one of the main ones, but she took everything she was working on through Network Kansas and the state and federal, looked at what the county was doing and tried to build a program that met those gaps. So it's similar, but a little different.
Well, and I don't think Councilmember Johnson will brag on himself, but you've been working on this for a long time, long before COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, before the county did any of theirs, you've been working on programs like this and advocating for things like this.
Right, my comments more so to, I guess, anyone who might be watching, not so much to the vice mayor, but more to folks who are watching as a kind of example where local government has done stuff similar to this, and so there has been successful formulas out there, so.
I believe so.
On the planning agenda, you've got two items on the non-consent agenda. One is from District 1. It's PUD for the Vassar apartment project. And then the second item is a zoning change from single family to multifamily. I think it's, yes, there was a protest petition filed. This is in District 4, protest petition filed, so it'll take 6 votes. That's all I have on page 3. Nothing on page 4. On page 5, just point out that number 4 at the bottom is the annual splash pad maintenance program. That would be $80,000.
Is that going to update or do improvements to all the splash pads throughout the city at once?
It's not distributed that way, Mayor. It's pretty much on an as-needed basis. So
Okay.
it's where we have maintenance needs.
Okay.
We establish, and then we'll prioritize the 80,000 based on the severity of the issues. On page 6, number 5 is authorizing an application for what's called Section 5310 funding from the feds. This is for transit service to residents with disabilities and seniors. Number 6 is a very small amendment to the annual action plan. HUD has made minor adjustments in the amount of money coming to the city for CDBG and home funding. If I remember, it's less than $1,000 in each funding source. They've just adjusted the funding formula, so it's very minor. And number 7 would appoint the members of the 2021 Grants Review Committee. Page 7, just 2 items for housing. Number 9, adjust rents for public housing for 2021. And item number 10 there would provide funding for 3 staff positions for our family self-sufficiency program. Mayor, that's all I have.
All right, any questions about the agenda? Any announcements? See none. With that, there's no objection, then we are adjourned. No objections said, so we are adjourned. Thank you.